a little bit of a demo for this newer unit. So this is the 11.6 inch screen for the Dasaita G13. They have another one, which is a G13, but it's a 10.2 inch screen. That previously was the G12 model. And basically what it, designated was the version of Android that it was on, but it's a software upgrade. So you can upgrade any of the units. So I did upgrade my G12 that I had, but again, the screen was a little bit smaller. And another key factor is it didn't have a volume knob here. Now, I know some people probably won't care, but it is definitely one of those things where I would say I would want it to have a volume knob, because just to quickly reach over and turn the volume up and down versus, using the steering wheel, I think is beneficial. So I did like having the knob there. Now, the other key difference is, with any of these screens, you are replacing this entire section. So you're not going to be able to use the factory trim piece to put the radio in because of how close it is. This is specifically molded and set up for this particular screen. So that's something to keep in mind. Outside of that, the only other issue I'm having is, and this might be an issue because of the way the screen is faced. If I have on polarized sunglasses, I can't see from my view here to the screen. So from my view, my eyes to that screen, I can't see it unless I lean over. That's the only other real issue that I'm having outside of an audio issue that I may have mentioned in my last video. But I'll have a fix for that coming soon. Hopefully it'll be here. It said Sunday, so hopefully we'll have that issue fixed. And that issue was a issue where it would pick up static through the system. This vehicle was equipped with the factory JBL radio, so Dasaita said that there is a little adapter bypass that goes in between the main connection and their harness that eliminates that static issue. So we'll see how that goes. So issue 1 was the static issue. Issue 2 for me was if I'm wearing a particular type of sunglass, I can't see the screen because it just blacks it out because of the polarization of my sunglasses. Now, that has nothing to do with necessarily the radio. It's just me, wearing those particular sunglasses. So we'll leave that at that. Outside of that, the radio works as intended. It's, as responsive as my last one, I would say. I don't think there's any difference between the models outside of the screen and just the physical makeup of this exterior piece. So everything else you have here. So, again, I don't have any Android devices, so I can't display Android Auto. But with CarPlay, all you'll need to do is you need to make sure your phone is connected to the unit. And then when you press the CarPlay button, it's going to bring this up here. So once you go into your Bluetooth settings, we're going to go down here and find it. So the name of this one is Car Kit. You can change the name in the settings if you want to. So I'm going to go in and find that one. And the pin, very simple, it's just 4 zeros. So we're going to get that paired. Once we do that, this will start to spin here. You'll see a little icon pop up. Give it just a moment here, and then CarPlay will display.
One eternity later.
Now, what you may have to do is, in your phone, if it doesn't come up initially, I've had this happen before where you'll have to go into your general settings on your phone go down to CarPlay and find that find the unit and go in and turn CarPlay on, because sometimes it won't come on automatically. And then like you can go into customize here and then organize your apps that you have that's inside of CarPlay. But it's I'd say it's fairly responsive, and everything I'd say works as normal. This little car button icon right here, this is to get back to the main OS screen outside of CarPlay. So you do have that, but everything else works inside of CarPlay. If you're listening to any music, you go into maps, you got Waze. So all that works, depending on, what you're doing and what, items you have on your phone, there may be a CarPlay app for it. I know that, a lot of manufacturers, a lot of app developers have been slow to develop stuff for CarPlay. But it's getting better. I still like it just because of its simplicity and having the maps and stuff there, and being able to connect to it that way. So I'd say, all in all, it still works, very well. Even if I want to go into, the news app, all that works as intended. Let's just say we have, we'll search for something here. And then now I wish it would like pinch to zoom, but you'll have to use the directional buttons here for that. Most people will enjoy that, definitely that larger screen. If we go into settings, you have all your latest settings for all the updates, current updates for your CarPlay system, changing wallpaper, your appearance, stuff like that. So all that's there. Like I say, it's easy when you go on your phone to actually adjust the apps on your phone versus trying to do it on the screen. But outside of that, that's CarPlay. Very simple, easy to use. But like I said, if we go back to the main OS, you do have other functions. Now you still have your Google Maps and stuff like that on there because it is running an Android system. But you also have access to the Google Play Store. So with the Play Store, by default, the unit actually has like YouTube. I want to say by default, Netflix was on here as well. I may have taken it off. Netflix and Hulu and some other apps. But you can do Gmail. You have access to the Chrome web browser. So there's stuff there. But like I said, if you wanted extra items or other items. All right, so we're in the Play Store here, so I want to make sure I'm connected to the internet. So this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to have this particular unit, is because it does work via Wi-Fi. So if I turn on the hotspot on my phone, then I'm able to connect it to this. So wherever I am and I have cellular service, I can connect it. So I'm just going to connect it to my home Wi-Fi. Now, one thing you do want to do is it's not going to let you connect to Wi-Fi and have CarPlay active. It's always going to want to default back to CarPlay for whatever reason. I wish there was a toggle that asked you if that's what you wanted to do. So you will have to either turn off the Bluetooth on your phone or disconnect your phone from this unit before trying to connect it to Wi-Fi, because it won't let you do it. So it's just a simple swipe down from the top. That'll give you access to your quick access menu. From there, you can click on Wi-Fi. And I'm just going to go into here and just disconnect it from that one. I'm not sure what is going on with that part of my network. I got to see what it's doing. All right, so I'm just going to connect to my hotspot if I can remember. Oops. All right, so now I'm connected to my hotspot. So again, if I'm out and we're parked somewhere or I'm waiting on someone, I can go into YouTube. I can go and play whatever I wanted to do, and or look up anything that I wanted to look up. So, and you know, it works pretty well. So I have terrible signal over here for some reason, so that's why it's taking a little long time. You may be able to hear the static there, but hopefully that'll be fixed soon.
It was 20 years ago.
But you have access to that. You can make that full screen.
Great tuning.
Almost. 09.
Okay, fair point. Yeah.
R32s had great PDK starting in 2005 or whatever.
It works. It works really well.
Dual clutch. Yeah.
And then, like I said, if you want to go, let's go back to the Play Store. And you have access to a bunch of different apps. You know, if you wanted to put Chat GPT on here. You know, and then there's various other apps. If you use Spotify, you can download that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Apple Music is on there as well. So I could download that. So again, you have access to the Play Store, and most of those apps work on here. Not every app, obviously, because it's limited by like the form factor, but works pretty well. So I can open up Apple Music. I'm not gonna log in just yet, but have access to that. I don't have to go into CarPlay if I don't want to for that, but it is there. I'd say things probably run a little bit smoother on CarPlay for any, you know, Apple application. That, you know, so let's see. So Chat GPT, not sure what's going on there. It might be just some app error. It may be because, again, it might be because of the form factor that it's not recognizing this particular unit. But you have everything there. Now, if you go into the settings on this unit, you have a bunch of different settings here. If you wanted to, you could change the background. You could put your own background on for wallpapers. You know, they have something in the live part. Let's see. Under wallpapers, they have some built-in stuff here, which isn't bad. That one's kind of cool. So we'll set that one as the wallpaper. Yeah, there you go. This volume knob, it's really nice. You just push in and that'll turn mute on.
So my car's the only one.
YouTube is still playing in the background. Well, I have YouTube Premium, so it'll still play in the background./But if you don't have a simple mute, press it. Now, the steering wheel controls still work. So if you press down the mode/hold button, that will mute it as well. So
he's got a chip
that will turn off mute or turn on mute. Your volume controls still work on the steering wheel. Your up and down skip buttons, like if you're watching a video or something like that, still works. So those buttons still work. So that's the cool thing, is that this unit has incorporated all of that into the system. So you still have access to that. So you don't have to worry about losing any of that functionality. If you go into settings, actually, let me see, where is it? Because is it control setting? Yeah, so control setting. So if you go back, this icon here, this was like the deeper menu inside of your factory radio. So you still have access to all of this information in this unit. So it uses the CAN bus to pull that information up and be able to control it. So you still have access to all of that. So you're not losing that functionality like inside of your factory radio. So you still have that there. That was another question, because some people were concerned about, if I switch out my unit, will I have to put the other unit back in to change those settings? No. Under this control setting, when you buy this unit, it's already set up for the Toyota configuration. So you'll have all that information there, and you'll be able to access it. Like I say, it's pretty responsive. If you wanted to, the icon controls the brightness. I have it set low because it was at night when I was testing this, but you can turn the brightness up. So that's full brightness there. Have I had any other issues with the unit, even in bright sun? I mean, I can still see it. So you have access to a lot of stuff. It still works with the factory rear view camera. And there are other cameras, other inputs to where you can put in a front camera if you want to. So you do have access to that. So the capabilities of this unit are, it's very capable. Even if you want to do, again, a standalone amplifier and speakers, you have access to that. All the cabling and stuff is there. So this is, when I say plug and play, it literally is. You don't have to do any real wiring or anything like that, because everything has its own connector, and it connects right into the system. It was a very smooth transition. The only thing I would say is, like, if you wanted to route so for me, I have my GPS unit and 4G antenna mounted to the windshield, just for best possible access for coverage. So I just routed that through the dash. So that's the only thing that I did. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I've seen some people stick it up here. So you do have that. But outside of that, it is pretty much plug and play, ready to go. And again, it looks fairly factory. Now, again, the trim pieces in this limited. This piece was like a pewter color, but I'm not too worried about that, because I want to say, if it's a non-limited and pro, that these trim pieces are black anyway. And over on that side, the vent is black, but on this side, on the driver's side, it's that like pewter color. And I'm probably just going to end up replacing that with a black one, just so that everything matches. Outside of that, no issues. This unit has worked very well. People are concerned about, hey, what's the reliability on it? I had a guy ask me that recently. I would say it's as reliable as any of the Pioneer or Alpine units I've had. My G12 would occasionally freeze, but all you have to do is just turn the truck off and on, and that will fix it. I've had that happen maybe 4 to 5 times. Not a big issue. I've had my Alpine freeze in my other car more than that, and I had to wait a while for it to come back up. So it's as reliable as any of those units. So, if somebody's looking to get one of these, yes, I'd go for it, because it is still cheaper getting this than going with, let's say, one of the Pioneer high-end units, because you're looking at probably at least a few $100s more for those units, and they're not as capable. So if anybody is looking for anything like this and is wondering if they should get it, I'd say definitely go for it. And I don't think you'll be too disappointed. Just keep in mind that you may run into some slight issues, but it's nothing that, just restarting your vehicle won't solve. So thanks again for watching. If you have any comments or anything like that, please leave them below. If you want to see any other videos or anything like that, let me know. If there's something I didn't cover in this video that you wanted me to cover, leave that below as well, and I may make a follow-up video. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.